The federal in federalism. United States. The United States is one country, but it's also a bunch of states. You could almost say it's a group of states that are, well, united. When our country was born, 13 states already existed. Each one was a British colony before gaining independence from Britain after the Revolutionary War. These new states wanted to come together as one nation, but they also wanted to be independent. After all, they just won their freedom from a powerful government. They needed a central government that would share power with the states. And that's exactly what they created when they wrote the Constitution. Let's get together. Each state already had its own government and court system, so the new Americans weren't exactly running amok. But if the United States was going to be able to deal with other nations, it needed one government that would speak for the entire country. It also needed one central government to do things like declare war on other countries, keep a military, and negotiate treaties with other countries. There also needed to be federal courts where citizens from different states could resolve their disputes. Government on two levels. The United States Constitution creates a central government known as the federal government. The federal government deals with issues that affect the entire country. Each state also has its own state government that only handles the affairs of that state. This division of power between a central government and state governments is called federalism. The federal government gets all of its power from the Constitution. In order to keep the federal government from becoming too powerful, the Constitution says that any power not given to the federal government is a power that states or the people keep for themselves. These powers are said to be reserved for the states. There also are a few powers that both the states and the federal government share. These are called concurrent powers because concurrent means happening at the same time. The Supremacy Clause. Before the Constitution, the United States tried another government that was very weak. It wasn't able to get much done because states could just ignore all the laws it passed, and they did. The Constitution has some very important language to prevent this. This Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, shall be the supreme law of the land. That means federal laws passed by Congress are supreme. They are superior to state laws. The founders of our country learned from experience that this was necessary in order for the federal government to keep the power the Constitution gives it. Federal power, expressed powers. The Constitution gives Congress two types of powers. The most obvious type are expressed powers. When you express yourself, you state how you feel. Similarly, expressed powers are actually stated or expressed in the Constitution. Each branch has expressed powers, but you mostly hear this term in reference to Congress. That's because the Constitution gives a long list of powers that Congress has. For example, Congress has the power to coin money, to declare war, to establish immigration laws. Some of the president's expressed powers include negotiating treaties with other countries, nominating justices to the Supreme Court, and pardoning people who have committed a federal crime. Federal power, implied powers. Implied powers are not expressly stated in the Constitution. When you imply something, your intention is clear, even though you don't actually have to say it. For example, if you have permission to go to the mall, you probably also have permission to go to the stores in the mall. Permission to go into stores is implied. In the Constitution, the implied powers of Congress come from the necessary and proper clause. This is the part of the Constitution that says Congress may make any law that is necessary and proper for carrying out its express powers. So, the Constitution doesn't say Congress has the power to create a postal service website, but it does say Congress can establish post offices. Permission to create the website is implied because it is necessary and proper to run the post office. This is going to be our first video. For the last two paragraphs of the reading, watch the second video.